Staff Sergeant Ray, I'm a United States Army recruiter here in the Richmond area. I am a 13 Fox, or Fire Support Specialist. Been in the Army for almost 13 years now. Pretty much life. I mean, at the time before I came in 2006, debt was rising. I had student loans to pay back. I was a deputy sheriff working almost 90 hours a week just to make enough money so that my family, at the time I had my wife and my son, so we could survive. Actually, wasn't really thinking about the Army at all. Bumped into a recruiter one day in a Quick Trip gas station while I was filling up the cruiser. He started talking to me, asked me a couple quick questions, and from there, pretty much the rest was history. Decided I'd give him a call, sat down, talked to him one day, had 3 basic questions. How much money will I earn? What is the medical coverage like in the Army? And will they pay off my student loans? He said yes, yes, and yes. I didn't ask any more questions. And I pretty much enlisted. My first initial swearing was on September 5th, which is my birthday. And within 2 or 3 weeks, I was at basic training. My favorite thing about being in the Army is the people that you meet and the ability to network. Everybody's got their story, everyone comes in for whatever reason, but you make that bond in relationships from, one side of the United States all the way up to the other side. I mean, I have friends in Germany, I have friends in Hawaii, I have friends in Italy, Alaska, people that I would not have met had I stayed as a deputy sheriff in, Georgia. The networking capability, as people decide to get out, they go out to, great jobs out here in the civilian sector, and you maintain those contacts and those relationships. Having that person there that can tell you, hey, this is what's going on in the industry, this is what's changed, this is what you should know, this is what is booming right now, kind of to guide your path. Everybody's a mentor. You just have to be able to take the information and translate it into what's going to work best for you. We don't go out there trying to do harm to anybody. We're out there trying to help. I mean, no one ever asks, what did you do on your deployment? There's, on the last deployment I was on, we actually provided aid, set up a water system for one of the villages. We put up, solar lights down the street so that people could see the drive. We gave out soccer balls, shoes, water, clothing, stuff like that. I mean, it's more of a humanitarian type mission as opposed to we're over there blowing stuff up. No one ever asks, hey, what do you actually do while you're there? Believe it or not, we go over there, we try to help. You make friends while you're there, and you try to help them out the best way you can. In my opinion, it's that comfort zone. I know when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to worry about if I'm going to have enough money at the end of the day to put food on the table for my family. Another thing that I like about the Army, which kind of has improved since I came in, has been the education program. You got $40,000 a year to use in terms of getting college taken care of. I mean, how many jobs do you know out there that provide $4,000 per year for you to attend college classes? I mean, I can't think of very many. If you decide not to use your Montgomery GI Bill, you can pass it on to your kids, breaking that cycle. I'm not worried about my education. I'm not worried about my kids' education. I'm not worried about putting food on the table. I'm not worried about, are we going to have lights at the end of the month? I'm not worried about those things now. So it's that security that I know that at the end of the day, I still have a paycheck coming, and I'm able to save money, put money aside. My family and I are able to take trips. There's a lot of resources out here that even as soldiers, we don't get to use all of them all the time because there's so many programs that the Army has that can help you do things. For example, if you want to start a business, there's a program for that. If you want to learn how to manage money better or do investments, there's a program for that. Army Community Service has hundreds upon hundreds of programs, and almost 13 years later, I haven't scratched the surface on all the programs that are available to us. Not to mention the benefits outside the Army, businesses that are partnered with us that provide jobs for soldiers that are getting out or decided, they wanted to move on, do something else in their life. There's something out there for every person and from all walks of life. It's not just, hey, you're a soldier and that's it. There's more to it than that. The best advice I can give to anyone that's deciding to join the Army is start studying. The test is not that hard. But granted, when most people take it, they've already, kind of exceeded that level and have forgotten a lot of information. When I took it, I was fortunate because I had recently gotten out of college. So the math stuff was fresh on my mind. The English stuff was fresh on my mind. So it was relatively easy for me when I took the test. But there's tools out there. The internet is just crazy with information. There's no reason for you to come in or walk into a recruiting office and say, hey, I'm ready to join, and they put you on the test and you score a 2 or a 10 or a 20. You should be able to at least hit at least a 50, depending on how long you've been out of school. Start getting in shape. It doesn't take much. Just get out there, start walking. Once you get comfortable walking, start running. Once you're comfortable running, start doing push-ups, sit-ups. Go to the gym, work out, get a plan together. Start eating right. One of my my major downfalls is I love food, but the Army we have a standard to keep and uphold. You have to be within a certain height, a certain weight, certain body fat percentage. So with me loving food, that kind of goes against the Army's idea of where I should be. So I have to work out. I have to eat right. And that kind of helps my family out too, because I don't just let them eat anything. I'm not going to buy, all the junk food out there in America, and then here I am eating salads and, fruits and vegetables. So, my family gets the benefit from it as well. We have programs for just about everybody. If you just want to come in and be a soldier, no problem. We can get you there. If you want to go and be an officer, there's a route for that. There's just so many opportunities that you can take advantage of. But you'll never know if you don't take that first step and find out the information. I mean, the internet can tell you, a good majority of, hey, what we have to offer. But the best way to find out how it's going to benefit you would be to sit down and talk with a recruiter. Another question I get asked a lot is, why did I decide to become a recruiter? I decided to do this because it gave me an opportunity to give somebody else a chance to do better, to do more with themselves. So I get to give back the same thing that I got in return, which was help. Somebody gave me a starting point. Somebody helped me focus where I needed to put my attention. A lot of people, say, hey, you're going to college, but not a lot of people tell you how to get there. Or if they tell you how to get there, they don't tell you what to do after you leave. It's easy to get into college. It's hard to stay in college. It's even harder to graduate, because during that time period, life happens. You may get married, you may have a child, you may buy a new car, you may change your expense habits. Anything can happen in that time period, but you have to stay on track, and that's what most people struggle with in college. And the second reason why I decided to do this was because somebody gave me a chance, and I'm just kind of trying to pay that forward. It's one thing to have, great friends out there, but the real way to tell whether or not you have a true friend is somebody that's willing to reach that hand out and say, hey, look, this is what you're doing, this is how you can do it better, and I'm that person to sit down and talk with you and tell you how I can help you do it better. In terms of the lying piece and all that stuff, all those rumors and myths you hear about recruiters, the facts are there. If you don't believe what I'm telling you, all the information you need is on the internet. GoArmy.com. You can Google or jump on these forums that people have either been in the Army or some branch of service, have gotten out, and you can ask those questions. People are out there that have done it. So that's what I will tell you. Just get out there, do your homework, do your research, find out what you want to do. Sit down with a recruiter and be like, hey, this is what I want to do. How can I get there? I tell people all the time, you know, it's not about what I can do for you, it's what you can do for yourself. If you do your homework and you find out what it is you want to do in life, not just the Army, not just the military, because I didn't join because I wanted to earn $1 million. I joined because number one, I wanted to serve my country. Number two, it put my family in a better position. And number three, I get to take advantage of all the resources out there. There's plenty of service members walking around that will tell you, hey, the Army or whatever branch of service that they served in was the best decision they made because it put them so far ahead of their peers. And that's one of the biggest benefits from the Army, is that ability to learn new skills, that ability to problem solve, that ability to be able to overcome and adapt whatever situation you're facing. The Army has some of the best leadership schools out there. I wish I had $1 for every person I met that said, hey man, I just want to be better. I just want to be a better person. Well, this is one surefire way to get there. We're going to teach you how to be a person, a better person. We're going to teach you to go beyond your personal limits. We're going to teach you to think outside the box. Those are skills that you just can't really put a price on it.